So people assume you become a real estate agent or someone in the industry because you love houses. That's not it. You become one because of how a purchase made you feel, whether it's overwhelmed, empowered, invisible. Today, we're unpacking our own buying stories and why they explain so much about why we got into this industry.
Welcome to Realty Check, the podcast about the real lives of agents, lenders, and moms who do it all.
We're here for the honest conversations behind the business, the family, and everything in between. Let's get into it. Hey, and welcome back to episode 4 of Realty Check. I'm Leni. Pleasure to meet you. Leni Lopez. I'm your resident loan officer.
And hey, I'm Amanda Freeman, your Sacramento area realtor.
So, Amanda, how are you doing today? What's your realty check? Are you crying? Are you thriving? What's going on?
Okay, I feel like I am pretty much thriving. I have a few exciting things that happened this week.
Tell us all.
Okay, so the first really exciting thing is, as of this recording, we are in the new year, which means that I got to look back on 2025 and what my real estate portfolio was for the year.
Yes, do tell.
And I made something called Masters Club for the Sacramento area. And what Masters Club is it's essentially it's the top realtors in our region. Tends to be about the top 10% of the industry in our region. So that is like a super exciting goal for me to hit.
Here we have, I'm so lucky and honored to be able to share this stage with Master Freeman. No, Stu, that's so cool. I'm so stoked for you. And I'm glad that you're getting the accolades for what you deserve. You've been putting so much work into this year.
And then if there are any like dinners or anything that I go to for this, you're going to be my +1, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay, wonderful.
I'll be right there.
Perfect. So that was my first really big thing. And you know what makes me extra proud is that like I did this without being on a team. This all came from relationships, like clients that I cultivated through relationships and through, which is like, again, it will be a whole episode that we go through talking about how we find clients, but it was just like really exciting.
And what that means is sustainability. She's creating a sustainable career. So that's awesome.
Which it's funny because you and I have even been talking about 2026 and goals that I like kind of have for 2026, but I keep talking about them like, well, you know, if I help this many people in this time frame in Q1, then we'll be able to do X, Y, Z. And you're like, girl, shut up.
No. I'm very much so the ones like, bitch, we're doing it. Like, don't stress. Like, I don't know why we've been acting like that's not going to happen. So
I appreciate you in my corner. And then my other thriving is that I just moments ago purchased an Aura ring.
Ooh, please go on and tell us people about this.
Okay, so the Aura ring it like pretty much turns your person into a Tamagotchi. It's the best way I could describe it.
Okay.
So it is a health tracker. So this ring is a smart ring and it'll track your heart rate. It'll track your temperature. It'll track your like menstrual cycles.
Wow.
Like it tracks all of these, your sleep. It like if you have...
Wait, how does it track your menstrual cycle?
So it uses all of the data points together to like figure out like when your temperature starts to rise, when your stress starts to increase. Like it can determine like when you're probably going to start, and then you can update in the app and it'll get better and better at tracking. I know.
I'm going to be really I'm going to be really honest with all of you here. She was telling me about this ring and I'm like, wow, this sounds really nice, Amanda, because I just didn't get it whatsoever. But the fact that it can tell me possibly when my period's about to start is pretty iconic.
I know. Yeah. So that or like it tracks your sleep and it'll tell you like, hey, based on your cycle, like your sleep cycles, you should probably go to sleep at this time, or you have sleep apnea and you are waking up because you can't breathe at this time of the night.
Wow.
And then the other thing is like, because I feel like I really got out of the cycle of working out, taking care of my body, eating healthy.
Really easy to do.
Really easy to do. And so I feel like having the data, I'm such a data person. And so having this data in front of me will help me make healthier choices into my 2026. So.
I'm so stoked for you. And I'm glad that this is a purchase for you. This isn't a purchase to benefit the business. This isn't a purchase to benefit your family. This is a purchase to benefit you.
Thank you.
You need this.
I'm so excited. I really am.
These are thriving moments.
Yeah. How about you? How are you doing?
You know what? I think I'm doing pretty good right now.
Okay.
I'm feeling pretty thriving. Had a really good week. I threw a party, a very silly party. It was a party called New Year Eve.
It was so fun.
I made an invite. I invited essentially the entire neighborhood. Because the thing is, my big thing about going into this next year is I can't control the government. I can't control a lot of things in the world, but I can control community and what I want to be for my community and what I want my community to be for me. And so I wanted to really finish off the year with a nice little celebration. So I created this party called New Year Eve, and it was starting at 11 to like 1 or 2 p.m. And essentially we would have a ball drop at noon. And a lot of people came with their kids. Some neighbors I've never met before came.
I love that.
And we all just connected. I threw a piñata off my roof, which was hysterical.
The kids loved that.
They really did. It was very anticlimactic because it just dropped from the roof. But it was really cute. The kids thought it was the greatest thing on earth.
Well, and you gave them poppers too. So like they were distracted by the poppers, but it was so funny.
A person came up to me and told me that was the best party she'd been to in 70 years.
What?
So, yeah.
Oh my
so that made me feel really awesome. So, I think I'm kind of thriving right now. Just off of that alone, that high. So,
I love it.
All good.
And now that you have your own space and that you are like coming into your own and really feeling like, I feel like you are very, like you're an outgoing person. You love to host, you love to do these parties. And so like, this is just the first piece of you being able to do that more and more in your own space, in your own home.
Absolutely. And, I'm a really big proponent of you can't ask for something that you're not giving. And so if I want to have a community that I can lean on and can reach out to and can bother and go to their homes and visit them, I have to be that as well.
Yeah.
And so my house was not perfectly clean when you guys came over, when the party happened, but everyone came over. Everyone had a good time. It was awesome. So I'm stoked about it. I know that's not really a business thriving thing, but it's more of a community. And I think that's something that I really drive home here is that community is part of our business. It's sustainability.
100%.
And so I think it was great.
Yeah, for sure. Miss Leni.
Miss Amanda.
What are we talking about today?
Ooh, that's a great question. So we've talked about a few different things in different episodes, but I think that we need to kind of break down a few walls and talk about our first experiences with buying our homes.
I think that'll be so much fun.
Yay!
We have very different experiences, and you have actually multiple experiences that you're going to get to touch on.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So let's see. I think that you have purchased a condo, right?
Yes.
And then also a home, like a single family home.
Yeah.
And then I have never been on the paperwork for the home buying process, but I have been passenger princess through the process. And so I think that'll bring, it'll be interesting to see all of the different perspectives of like being in it versus not.
Before we go into the process of buying our homes, I just wanted to ask you real quickly, when being the passenger princess with your home purchase, was that your first entrance into home buying? Were you involved with your parents buying their houses? Anything like that?
Oh, that's a great question. So my parents purchased their property in 1991. And I was like a year and a half old.
Okay.
And that was the home that I grew up in. And that was the home that they still owned when we purchased this house.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So no, not really.
So your first entrance into real estate home buying was with the home purchase.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and then HGTV, but we all know that that's not like the real.
I know, right? So that was really interesting for me. I was the kid who loved watching HGTV. I love watching the homes where they would talk about fixing up the home and then either keeping it or selling it and seeing what the property.
Love it or list it?
Yeah, love it or list it.
Yes.
I love those. I would I would eat those up. But on top of that, my parents were really honest with me about home buying. And so my parents bought my childhood home. They bought a home when I was younger in the 90s, but then they bought another home in 2001, which was a new build. So I got to go through the new build process with them when I was about 6.
Oh, okay.
And I remember going through that. I remember listening to them and their headaches with dealing with new builds. And again, being the oldest child, my parents talked to me about a lot more things than I think they did with my other 2 siblings.
Yeah.
And then when my parents foreclosed on their home in 2008 or 9, they heavily involved with me in that. And then even when they bought their house in 2011, they talked to me. And when I first became a loan officer in 2015, I helped my birth father buy a house.
Oh, wow.
And so I feel like I had a really good...
You had a lot.
I had a lot of understanding and a lot of kind of experience, kind of outside experience, passenger princess experience.
Yeah.
But that's kind of like what I think made me really want to buy a home.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I will. Now, with you talking about that, it did spark some memories that I had buried and forgotten before. So when I was in high school, my parents like went through a phase of thinking that they were going to purchase a new property. And so like, I remember, and I feel like this is such a common thing to, you spend your Sundays going to open houses just for fun.
Yeah.
But then you find a house that you really like and you're like, oh wait,
this isn't just for fun anymore.
Yeah. Let me see if we can make this work. And so there was like a short period of time where my parents, there were 2 separate homes that they like wanted to purchase, but it was like one of those fast things where they were not pre-approved when they first saw the home. There was going to be contingent on the sale of our home. So for one of them, I think they actually may have gotten under contract.
Oh, wow.
Possibly. I don't know. I should talk to my mom about this.
Yeah, you should.
I know. I forget, but I think because I remember we had a for sale sign in our yard for like a weekend or less than a week. And I just remember like, I was walking around the for sale sign so forlorn that we were going to sell our family property, and then sitting on my neighbor's grass and just being like, I can't believe it. This is where I grew up and it's all going to be gone. Like,
you had a Carrie Underwood
moment? My God. It was, I was a dramatic teen.
Oh my God.
But for some reason, neither of those went through. And interestingly enough, that it was one of those situations where they were going to use the listing agent as the buyer's agent. So dual agency.
Yeah.
And you know how we
talk about that. We talk about that.
Yeah. So anyway, thanks for jolting that memory out of my...
And I think that really, I kind of wanted to enter with this kind of conversation because I had a lot of that in mind when buying my first house. Yeah. So I got licensed in 2015. And when I got licensed, a big thing that was on my head was, how am I going to be here trying to sell mortgages when I don't own my own home? And
which I think is not an uncommon, like especially for younger professionals in our industry, like that's not an uncommon like worry of, hey, I'm helping these people, I'm helping my clients with one of the biggest financial decisions of their life, and I haven't even done it myself. Yeah. Like very, very common.
Yeah. And so I had those feelings, and also I kind of was very vagabondish for my younger years. Okay. So I moved out of my mom's house right when I turned 18. I kind of lived with my birth father. Then I kind of lived with friends. And then I was a live-in dog sitter for another friend's parents. And then I was renting rooms from people. And, I just didn't have stability in my own living. And when I got licensed, I told myself, I'm going to buy a house in the next 2 years. And so, because I knew that I was going to be commission based with being in mortgage. Right. So I needed 2 years. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to buy a house in 2 years. I'm going to make that goal for myself. And soon after I made that goal, I realized I did not want to be in mortgage anymore. Because the company I was working for was awful. And I think we've talked about this before.
Talked about it in previous episodes.
So it was awful. I left the industry. I was an office manager of a chiropractic office. I had a boyfriend at the time. We moved in together after 2 months of knowing each other because that's how I roll. And I told him, I said, hey, I'm buying a house in 2 years. You're either in or you're out. And
I love how, this is just how you approach life.
This is how I approach life.
This is to know Leni is to love Leni. Like, yes.
So he said yes. And so we started hardcore saving. We were living with his mom. I was paying her $300 a month in rent, which is nothing. So we were essentially just saving money like crazy.
Yeah.
So we saved up, I want to say we saved up like 60 grand in less than a year and a half. We put away money like crazy, which again is very privileged. I know that a lot of people don't have that ability to live with family for discounted rent and just be able to save. But I had that, and
you took advantage of what was in front of you.
Yeah,
to take advantage of. You didn't squander your gifts that were given to you.
And so when that happened, we started then looking at programs, and I found a nationwide program that I was still very new to this. I was in the industry for a blip, still was licensed, wasn't using it.
So this is still like within that 2 years of you, 2015, 2017-ish.
Yeah, so I got licensed in May of 2015, and I bought my house in September 2017. Okay. So just after 2 years.
Yeah.
And so I start working with this national program, and this national program says that there's all these hoops you got to jump through because they know that they're people they're helping are first-time home buyers. So they wanted to make sure you were super ready. So they had a big thing of you had to show that you could save your money for 6 months, equivalent to what your new mortgage was going to be. Okay. And you had to do all these things, which I did, which was great because again, forced us to save a lot of money.
It's good habit building.
Good habit
in theory.
Building. Yes.
In theory, yeah.
The problem was they had super high turnover. So every 2 or 3 months, I was getting a new loan officer. So that meant every 2 or 3 months, I'm having to re-explain my file, right? And, I'm going to their classes because you have to go to a certain amount of mandated classes to go through their program and all this stuff. And I'm still seeing the benefit because they're going to give me money to go towards buying a house. So I'm like, you know what? There's still a huge benefit here.
Sure.
Going through the program, you have to use one of their pre-approved real estate agents. So they linked me with one of their real estate agents.
Okay.
And the real estate agent was very pessimistic. Which honestly, she was realistic. I shouldn't say pessimistic. She was very realistic, but I viewed it as pessimism because here I was saving all this money, doing all this work. And she's like, hey, it's 2017. Everyone's buying houses right now. Homes are a hot commodity. No one wants to work with this program. They're going to see your pre-approval letter and they're going to turn you down. And I said, well, it's a really good program. I want to try. I put on offer after offer after offer. I put 25 offers in, and on the 26th or 27th offer, I got accepted.
Wow. 26 offers.
Oh, wait, sorry. We got accepted after offer 19, but we got in for a new build, and we were in contract for a new build.
Okay.
And found out that they put the wrong size furnace in to the new build during inspections.
No.
And they said, well, technically, even though it's not the right size, it doesn't go against regulations. So we're not going to change it. And I said, well, I'm not buying this house anymore. So then we had to fight to get our earnest money deposit back, which is 10 grand. And so got our earnest money deposit back. We're then stuck looking at houses again, right?
Yeah.
So after being turned down 20 times, we're now looking at houses again. So then finally, what I said I wanted was I wanted a single family home. I wanted a decent sized yard. I wanted it to be in a safe, quote unquote, neighborhood, a neighborhood that I felt safe in.
Sure.
And I wanted it to have a gas range stove.
Okay.
And well, I was getting outbid left and right. All the homes I liked, even if they weren't in the best of neighborhoods, everyone was putting offers. Homes were getting 50 offers at that time. People were going $60,000 over asking. So was I. I was putting way more money over asking on offers. And I just wasn't getting accepted. And my partner at the time, his caveat was he didn't want an HOA. He was anti-HOA. And honestly, I kind of understood that because I remember thinking back to when I was in high school and my parents were looking at buying a house. They were looking at a home they really liked, but it was in an HOA. And they thought about it. They were like, we want to be able to park our cars on the street. We want to be able to do certain things. And so I understood where they were coming from with not wanting an HOA. So here we are with all of our things that we thought were our needs, right?
Right.
Clients always come in with their needs, right? So here we are. I have my needs. I want to be under this price point. We're not getting accepted. Yeah. So then finally, I was like, you know what? What do I really care about?
Okay.
I really care about walkability in a neighborhood and being safe and feeling comfortable in walking in my own neighborhood. That's what's really important to me. And I wanted something that I thought was going to build equity. And so I went and viewed a condo. and I never wanted a condo. They never wanted a condo. It's 2 stories. It was in the pocket neighborhood, which is all electric. There's no gas range stoves. It has no backyard. It has HOA.
I was going to say, and an HOA.
It has everything we did not want.
Yeah.
But guess what? We got our offer accepted. And it was cute. And so we got our offer accepted. We're in contract. And the national program we were using was dragging their feet.
Oh, no.
And at this point, we were 45 days into a 30-day contract or 30-day escrow.
Oh, no.
And we're not getting anywhere, right?
Oh, no.
And it wasn't on us. It was because they kept changing LOs and they kept changing underwriters. And I looked at it online. They were paying their loan officers like $15 an hour. Like they were paying them minimum wage, like barely above the minimum wage at that time. And so, of course, these people are putting no effort in, right? And they're probably given like 1 million files.
Yeah.
They're not getting paid commission, so they're not working hard.
Yeah. Clock in, clock out.
Clock in and clock out people. And my real estate agent was like, look, we are getting farther and farther along into this escrow and things are not moving. And I'm like, but if I don't use them, I'm going to not get all these things that I've been working so hard, saving my money for, using this program is going to give me X, Y, and Z. And finally, we're well into the process. And I think we were like over 100 days in.
Oh my gosh.
We're 100 days into it, like a 30-day escrow.
Oh, torturous.
Torturous for the listing agent and the seller. Like I realized like they could have canceled at any time and kept my earnest money deposit.
Yeah.
And so finally our real estate agent said, you know what, you have to give up on this. Or you're not going to get this house and you're going to lose your earnest money deposit. Yeah. So we were looking at getting pre-approved with her suggested mortgage broker. We were told by the mortgage broker, hey, it's better if we purchase just under his name than with you on it.
Heartbreaking to hear.
Heartbreaking to hear, but I also get it. He had an 830 something credit score. I had like a low 600 credit score. So like we would get a better mortgage product if we just purchased under his name. But as someone who was just boyfriend and girlfriend with this guy, we had no actual stake in the game with each other.
Yeah.
Half of that money that was saved was mine.
Yeah.
Like, and it's going towards a house. There was a lot of risks.
Oh my gosh.
But at the same time, I thought, okay, let's pivot. I'm buying a house. I'll put my name on title.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, and if I don't put my name on title, at that time I was really serious with the guy. We actually gotten engaged during the escrow process. I was like, I'm going to marry this guy. So when I'm married, it will become community property.
Yeah.
But if we buy this house and we don't get married in time, I can buy a house as me being a first time home buyer too.
Sure.
And so I was like, I'm going to spin this positively for myself. Sure. Right. And then we're buying it just under my then fiance's name. And the mortgage broker was a total jerk to me. He was just like, yeah, this loan is just a way lower loan amount, because he was based in Rockland. And he was just like, yeah, I don't usually do loans at this loan amount, but I'm doing it because I'm friends with the agent. And just very much so making it sound like I am an inconvenience. So the entire mortgage process, the whole buying process, we were made to feel like an inconvenience. Yeah. Because we're not buying at a super expensive time. I think our price point was under $300,000 at that time. Yeah. Which in 2017 honestly, was doable. Yeah. And so, sure, our loan balance wasn't the highest. We're not looking at the most expensive. We have a decent amount of money to put down, but we don't have crazy amount of money to like be able to, offer over asking if we don't appraise. So all these things were going on. And so I just felt like such an inconvenience, and I felt like everyone was so dismissive of our questions and of our feelings the entire time.
You had like this cloud. You were looked down on.
Yeah.
You had to feel less than.
Yeah. And like
when you were doing something that was like a huge deal.
I was 23.
Huge deal.
I was 23 years old.
Buying a property. I mean, I think that right now the first time home buyers, I think the age is 40.
Yeah.
So
it was 38 2 years ago, by the way. It just keeps going up.
Yeah.
It was just very sad.
It is sad.
But yeah, I was 23. I was 23 years old.
Yeah.
And so, and I was just like, I'm here trying my best. Yeah. And I just felt like there was a lot of stress throughout it. I felt like I was being pushed along, and I felt like I was being dismissed. And so dealing with that really kind of jaded me towards towards mortgage further. I was like, yeah, mortgage isn't for me.
Yeah.
And then I decided to get married. We got married. And after we got married, we got pregnant. And then after we got pregnant, I was like, what am I going to do? I'm going to be working a 9-to-5 job and have someone else raise my child. And I had all these feelings about it. And I was like, I want to be able to be there for my child.
Yeah.
Or no, scratch that. Before I got pregnant. So before I got pregnant, we were trying for 11 months. So during that process, I had these conversations of like, what am I going to do? Am I going to just work a 9-to-5 job? And I was like, I think I want to go back into mortgage. And so I quit my job during COVID. And I'm looking for all these...
Which we talk about a little bit in episode 1.
Quit my job during COVID. And then I get back into mortgage. And getting back into mortgage, I realized, okay, well, I want to refinance my house. So I refinanced my house and I went through that process. And again, I felt really dismissed by this person.
So why did you want to refinance your house? Like, were you trying to pull equity out?
At that time, I was just refinanced to get a better rate.
Oh, okay.
I was in the high 3s and we lowered it to the 2s. And so,
what a time!
I know. What a prissy thing to say. Oh, I wasn't satisfied with the 3s. I wanted the 2s. So refinanced, and during that process, felt really, really dismissed again. And I was
did you use the same lender, or did you use
different lender? Different lender.
And you were dismissed again.
And I was dismissed again. And I was like, no, I'm getting back into mortgage.
Yeah.
And so then I was like, no, I'm going to get back into mortgage. I'm going to do my own mortgages from now on. I'm going to help other people figure out how to figure out their mortgages. And I'm not going to dismiss them.
Yeah.
And so I got hired at my current mortgage brokerage. And a few days later found out I was pregnant. And I was like, wow, what timing.
After trying for 11 months.
I know. And then after working there, getting pregnant, having my baby in August of 2021, I had my baby and I just looked at my stairs in my condo, which were super steep. And I was like, I can't do this. I can't raise a baby with these giant stairs. This home has done so much for me. Yeah. I'm so glad I bought it, but it's just, I've outgrown it. Yeah. Which is scary to think you're outgrowing a place. And I had this baby. And I was out of mortgage because, again, I was just had a baby. I was kind of taking a step back, and for like a few months, and then I was like, after
what was it? After closing loans, like right after you gave birth, and then you're like, okay, I guess now I'll take some time off.
So I took like 2 months off, and then I don't know. I was like looking at everything with the market. I was constantly staying updated, and I was like, there's a shift happening. And I told my then husband, and I said, I think we need to buy another house ASAP.
And this was now we're in 2020, the end of 2021.
End of 2021. So we're like October 2021. Okay. And I was like, I need to go back to work and we need to buy a house ASAP. And he's like, why? And I'm like, I don't know. I think that I think a huge change is happening. I think something's going to happen. I think everyone needs to buy a house now. Wow. And so I'm going to everyone. I'm like this crazy person speaking about the Armageddon. And I'm like, you need to buy a house. And everyone's like, Leni, you're just trying to sell houses because you want to make money. And I'm like, I do need money because I have a baby, but also it's a good time to buy a house. And so
rates haven't spiked yet. Either, right?
No. Yeah. Interest rates are still in the 2s. Interest rates are still in the 2s. And I was like, I need to buy a house. I want to get my single family home. I want to get my single family home with a decent sized backyard in a neighborhood I like, in a school district that I like. Yeah. And I thought about all these things and I was like, I want to buy it. I want it. And so, looking at houses, I got us pre-approved, kind of without telling him.
And you're using yourself as the lender.
Using myself as the lender. Well, technically I couldn't use myself. So Lori was I used my brokerage. Yeah. My broker was my lender. And so we are going through the process, and my old chiropractic boss talked about my neighborhood. And he lived here, and he just talked about how great it was and how it was like the slice of heaven and like felt like real community, even though you were in a big city. And I saw that there was a home for sale in the neighborhood, and I went and looked at it. And I put an offer on the home without telling my then husband. I know, toxic, right? Like everything you don't want your client to do. I get it, okay?
Everything I would tell my clients not to do.
Worst client here, okay?
Okay.
So I then put an offer on a house that I went and saw without telling my then husband.
Okay, question. Did you use the listing agent? Did you, because I know you have your own license, did you do it as you being the agent? Like, how did you do that part?
That's a great question. So what she's asking is, since I am a loan officer, but I technically have my real estate license, I don't use it at all, but I just have it. I didn't feel comfortable doing my own transaction.
Okay, because you don't do that side
I don't do
of
that
real
side.
estate.
And the home I wanted to buy was a probate. And probates are a little bit different.
Yeah.
And so I didn't want to do anything wrong. So I had a realtor that my broker was close with help us out.
Oh, perfect.
And so we, I really wanted this house. I was really afraid of 2017 happening again and getting outbid like crazy.
Yeah.
So we put down,
we meaning you behind your husband's back.
On the offer, we put like $20,000 down as the earnest money deposit because I was like, I want this home.
So did you just put was this just your name on everything, or never mind.
Okay,
never mind.
Well, listen, he knew that I wanted to buy a house. He knew I wanted to buy a house. He gave me all of his income. He filled out the application. He sent me his pay stubs and everything. So he knew
he was a part of the process.
So cerebrally, he knew that we were going to buy a house. He did not know what house we were buying.
Okay, but he also, I think, I don't find his personality to be such that he probably didn't mind, right?
No. Okay. I don't think he minded that much.
Okay. That much. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Continue.
So then we go that weekend and I'm like, hey, there's an open house in that neighborhood that my old boss liked. We should go look at it.
Okay.
And so we look at it and he looks at the house. He's like, we could put an offer on it, but we're probably not going to get it. And I was like, yeah, probably not. The next day, I get notice that the offer was accepted. So you know what? He was okay.
Yeah.
It just happened before his approval, but he did get approval before we got the offer accepted.
Hey, there was all of escrow for you guys to figure it out,
There was all of escrow for us to figure it out. And we're in contract to buy this house. It's a probate. Did not know it was a probate when we knew it was a probate, but we thought everything was already done properly.
Yeah.
The listing agent did not do things properly.
Oh,
so for probates, they have to be listed for a certain amount of time. Like it has to go certain approvals. They did not do that. So I was planning on closing and I had my broker lock my interest rate for a certain closing date. And it ended up going from a 30-day close to a 45-day close, which messed up my interest rate, which messed up when. This is why you have to have everything down to a T. Working with a really good team, not only your agent, good listing agent, all of these things matter. So when your agent is telling you, hey, I don't think we should look at this house because that agent isn't someone who's conducive to a good working environment, sometimes listen because it can screw up everything.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for the fact that I'm in the industry, that would have cost me thousands of dollars. It would cost me thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
And so...
Because this is one of those things that I don't think lay people understand unless and even if people have purchased a home, they might not understand unless they've had to extend a lock.
Yeah.
But so when you are under contract, your lender will lock the rate for a certain amount of time based on how long escrow is going to be. Yep. And it costs a certain amount. And if your escrow is going to go longer, then it messes everything up because you either have to pay to extend or you lose it and relock at a different interest rate.
And also relocking comes at a cost. So when you relock, it actually makes your interest rate worse than what it would have been if you had never locked in the first place.
Awesome.
So relocking and extending, the reason why whatever you put on your contract and what you tell your lender matters is because it will cost you money.
But Leni, who needs their own lender or agent to purchase a home? Just do it on your own.
Oh my gosh.
It's so easy. Okay,
so
sorry,
Here we are. We're in contract. Okay.
We're having to extend the lock.
And I pulled out, we did a HELOC on our condo to pull out money to go towards buying our new house, right? Because the thing is, in my opinion, I would rather have more equity in my primary residence than equity in my investment property.
Okay.
And the reason why is wherever I live, I want that to be the most stable.
Yeah.
Right? And so we pull out money from a HELOC in the condo to buy the new house. And that is going to start because you skip 2 payments, right? Mm-hmm. So all of these things, I'm lining up everything to make sure that it closes at a certain date so that I can get the condo ready to then list out for rent. Mm-hmm. And I have all these things lined up. And then I find out, no, we have to extend escrow by 15 days, which pushes us out, which means you have to extend that, which now you're going to miss a whole month of getting your house ready for rent. So now I'm having to remodel my condo while living in it so that I can have it ready to rent as soon as I move out.
Because on paper, 15 days doesn't look like a lot.
No.
But the consequences of 15 days can be thousands and thousands of dollars.
Well, yeah. So for instance, I was supposed to close in the beginning of December, but instead I closed on December 31st. So because I closed on December 31st, that means I skipped December's and January's mortgage payment, but started paying in February.
Yeah.
Whereas if I closed earlier, that would have been fine because I still had December to get things ready.
And you certainly weren't gonna bother the sellers even more and say, let's close on the 2nd instead.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Yeah.
And so now I'm losing a whole month of like discounted, essentially. So I'm having to move into my new place on New Year's, essentially. And so all these things are just happening, right? Which is fine. And again, the fact that I was able to jump through the hurdles was because I was in the process, right? Yeah. And I was knowledgeable.
Yeah.
But like, I will tell you right now.
Stressful for you being someone in the industry, let alone someone who's not.
Having someone to hold your hand in these instances is vital.
Yeah.
Because here I am in the industry doing this as my income. And even I deal with problems.
Yeah.
You talk to any real estate agent or loan officer and they will tell you every loan is different. There is no loan that's exactly the same.
Yeah.
And so every loan has their own quirks. Every purchase has its own quirks. Mm-hmm. And so going through all these, I think have made me more understanding. Every purchase, every refinance I've done for myself has made me more attuned to what I know my clients need.
Yeah.
And so those were my home buying experiences in a nutshell.
Wow, what a journey. And I feel like that certainly shaped who you are as a lender, which I think we'll talk about in a minute, but I'll share my story first.
Yes,
and then we can chat about how these have shaped the real estate professionals that we are.
Yeah.
Okay. So for me, my husband, then boyfriend.
See, we both purchased before marriage.
We did.
Now, what made you what made you guys decide to do that?
So
were you serious at the time? I'm so sorry. Like, I'm just asking you all the questions.
No. Hold on. I'll get there. I'll get there. Don't worry. Okay. I love your question. It's part of the story. I'll say it. Okay. So, when we were dating, so we purchased in 2015. Mm-hmm. I think it was January of 2015, maybe February of 2015. So we had started house hunting like the fall before. So 2014. He and I started dating in 2011. So we had been dating for 3 years.
Yeah.
We were living together in downtown Sacramento. So I had a lot of student loan debts. My husband did not have any loans from college. And so once he started his career, he graduated, I think in 2011 from college. And so he had these years of saving for a down payment because he knew that he wanted to save for a down payment. Whereas I had to dig myself out of my student loan debt before I was going to be able to save for a down payment. So that's kind of like, we had been dating for 3 years. He had the money for a down payment. Mm-hmm. We knew that obviously we were already living together. Yeah. So we knew I was going to live in the home with him. But because we were not married, because we were not engaged or anything like that everything was going to be under his name. Because I wasn't contributing, unlike you, where like half the money was, coming from you. I didn't have anything to contribute. It was not our home in a financial sense. I mean, it was always considered from the moment we moved in, it was our home, but not on paper, if we had ever broken up, this would have been his house.
Yeah. Not anymore.
Not anymore. No. But at the time, when we were house hunting, like he was the one that was paying for the down payment. He was the only one that was going to be on title. Like it was his asset.
Yeah.
But he certainly wanted me to be a part of the process because he did see it like it was going to be our home. It was going to be his home, but it was going to be our home, you know, like, and our story was going to unfold in this home together. And so, as far as the house hunting went, he used one of his parents' friends who was an agent to be the real estate agent. She was very old school. She would pick us up from our apartment in downtown Sacramento and have like water bottles for us. And she'd print out all of the homes that we were going to go tour, and she'd drive us around and show us. And one thing I learned from that experience is that I never want to initiate or drive my clients around because there's so much value in driving separately and allowing the client and the agent to hash it out separately. Like I would have loved to be driving from house to house with Michael by ourselves. Speaking candidly to talk about, you know, what we liked, what we didn't like about that house. You don't really get that. And it's not something that you would, I mean, she was doing, I think it was common. There was an era that was common that the agent would drive you around. She was doing it as like, certainly as like, for her, first class, you know, experience. But it's interesting that being a millennial and being someone who experienced it, that I don't like that personally. And it was something that I was not going to incorporate when I became an agent myself.
Isn't that interesting?
It's so interesting. And like, again, it's not that what she was doing was wrong. And I've had one client that, I did end up driving him. He was an older gentleman, and I did end up driving him to a couple of homes. And, you know, unfortunately in my car that is like mommed to the T and has like kids trash all in the back seats and everything, like that poor gentleman. But he also was kind of that era that I think would appreciate the agent driving them around. So a little interesting tidbit there. So, you know, so I was definitely involved with the house hunting, the searches. It was, she only set Michael up on the house hunting searches. And in 2014, I don't really think, maybe Zillow was, I guess Zillow was a thing, but I mean, it's not to the extent where you like had the app on your, like it wasn't, I didn't have an app that I was searching homes for. I was just like, Michael's going to go find the homes. And then I guess I'm going to step in once there are homes to view is essentially what it was. So like she only set up the searches for him. She actually, she lived in Elk Grove, which is, for those not familiar with their geography, is the city south of Sacramento. And she was really, really, really pushing Michael into Elk Grove and Pocket. And
that's so interesting.
And he had told her, no, this is the neighborhood that you and I both live in now. This is the neighborhood that I want to focus on. It's the neighborhood I grew up with. It's the neighborhood I'm familiar with. It's a part of Sacramento that I'm familiar with. Like, this is where I want to live. I don't want to live in Elk Grove. Please stop sending me things in Elk Grove. So again, I just know that from secondhand knowledge of him like annoying, sitting on the couch being like, oh, she's sending me Elk Grove listings again.
I can absolutely picture that Michael being annoyed by this. I really can.
Yeah. Well, it goes back to having someone who's not listening to your needs.
Yeah.
Like I get it. Sometimes what you think you want and what you really want, there is a little bit of give, right?
Yeah.
Like there's like, okay, well, why do you want to live in this particular neighborhood? Oh, well, if we can get you that community or that whatever that you're looking for this neighborhood, maybe this other city or this other area would be a good fit too. In that instance, I feel like it's a good opportunity to at least push the boundaries a little bit with a client, force them to think out of the box a little bit to see. But if his reason is I grew up in this neighborhood and it's the neighborhood that I want to move into, that's a pretty solid, like, I'm not going to be...
Neighborhood I grew up in is something you can't duplicate in a different neighborhood.
No. No. And at the time he was working in Dixon. And so he also wanted a straight shot tour. So on Highway 50 or 50, 80 goes 50 and then turns into 80, right? Yeah. So, okay. So that's like the setup that was our house hunting. That was like our agent or whatever. So then
how did you feel about that? About not being given access to the searches and things like that?
I didn't love it. I felt like I wasn't included in the process. Like it kind of gave me, I had mixed feelings, right? Because like I wasn't putting money towards this house. So it wasn't me buying a house. It wasn't my house. But it made it even a starker like line of this is not your house by not being included in that process. And I don't think that like Michael wouldn't have minded if I was a part of that process, but he also is just like an oblivious whatever. Like he wasn't saying to the agent like, hey, you need to make sure that Amanda is also included in the, like it was, he didn't see it.
Yeah. Well, it's hard to see things that aren't affecting you, right?
Right.
And now, as an agent, do you feel like when you have a couple come up to you and, you know, a similar situation, how do you broach it?
Yeah. So and this kind of, it leads into the next section that we'll talk about after.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I mean, no, that's definitely something that I like, for example, the listing that I just had, only the husband was on the mortgage and the deed, but I had the listing appointment with both parties. Like he wanted everything. A lot of the communication was through the wife. And so when we were all sitting together, you know, it's that conversation of, okay, how involved, like I understand that like you are on the deed, you are on the mortgage. How involved are we all going to be together? And the answer was like, she is my equal. Like, you know, it will be group texts. It will be group emails. Please keep her apprised of all of the information. And so I certainly make sure, whether it's in group setting or, you know, sometimes it's more appropriate to like ask privately how that person wants to handle it. Yeah. But it is absolutely something that I make a point to check in and see. And it's one of my points when I'm doing my buyer consultation is who are the decision makers? Yeah. And I think that is the key there is who are the decision makers? Because it might not be everyone that's on. Like technically I was to an extent a decision maker. I wasn't the ultimate decision maker of the home, but I should have been a little bit more involved in the home buying process. Yeah. So, okay. So that was like all of that. Then we finally got her to narrow down into the neighborhood that we were actually going to purchase in. Yeah. And as you mentioned, 2014, 15, 16 was a really tough time to buy. And so we ended up having to put offers on 3 different homes before getting one. Not 26. It certainly wasn't, you know, the extent that like you dealt with, but 3 different homes. The first one in our budget, Michael's budget, was under 300. So kind of very similar to what your budget was. And so the first home, but he was like really pushing it. And here was the other thing, which actually propelled us into like, it certainly helped us with so many things in life that we didn't even realize. So when Michael was house hunting, it was always, what can I afford on my own? Not because he didn't think that we were going to end up together, not because, but, you know, being a very serious, minded person, like he wanted to make sure like, hey, if ish hits the fan, like I need to be able to keep this house on my own. Yeah. And so we were only looking at homes that he could afford on his own salary, which meant that at the end of the day, so it was a little bit of a tighter budget for us. But when I had my son, I got to stay home because he originally was only looking for a mortgage that he could afford on his own. Yeah. So it wasn't like we were having to come up with that other money. When it was time, like for everything from that point, it really helped build this life that we didn't even know we were going to build.
Yeah.
So it was kind of special in that way. Like one of those things that you're like,
kismet.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah.
That's great. And that's something that I speak to about my clients constantly is like what you qualify for is different than what you need. And, or what you should have. And so
what's the monthly payment that you're comfortable with?
So even when I bought my house, I remember one thing that irritated that new mortgage broker and my real estate agent, and we were not looking at the tippy top of our budget. So we were looking at homes. Which
super annoys me as an agent that's annoying to them. Like,
so we were looking at under 300,000, which was really competitive. And they wanted us to look more towards our tippy top, which was 375.
Yeah.
And I did not want to look at 375.
No.
At that time, I wanted my mortgage to be under 1,300, which goals.
Right.
So when we bought our house, our mortgage was 1,200.
Yeah.
And so.
Yeah. Well, so, okay. So like we put our offer on the first house. It was multiple offer situation. We got knocked out. The second house was like on a 1/4 acre right next to the levee. Oh. It was like we were walking the house and we were like, okay, we'll put the chicken coop here. Well, like we were dreaming. It had a family room and a sunken living room.
Oh my gosh.
And the sunken living room looked out the front and there was a giant window. And I was like, and we'll put the Christmas tree here and I'll have my bookcases and a piano in this room. And
do you remember which house it was?
I'll tell you.
Oh, I look at the whole houses that I put offers on. And because I still know, because I'm crazy and I have a list still.
Yeah.
And I look and see if they've sold or what they're at. And I have a really bad problem. I shouldn't do it, but I do.
Yeah. So I remember that house.
Yeah.
So it was, we knew going into it, it was going to be a multiple offer situation. But also Michael was like, I can't go over 3. Like I am not comfortable with the monthly payments over 3. And again, he was very adamant that we will not put an offer in considering your income, Amanda, because you have student loans, you have this, you have that. Like, and this is not, that's not our stage in life right now where we take that into consideration. And so I think we might have put an offer in at 3 or maybe at like 295, like something like right there. I'm pretty sure we lost that house by like $5,000.
Oh my gosh. It's okay.
Still hurts, but my life turned out like our matron of honor and our best man were our matron of honor and our best man because of this house that we got. So, which leads me to the final house that we put an offer on, which was the house that we are in right now.
Yes.
And this house, if you're on YouTube, you can see this giant hole in the wall that Michael put in, an intentional hole in the wall. There's not like, if you're listening on the podcast, there's not like,
it's a nice hole.
It's a nice hole in the wall. It's not, you gotta be careful there. So we found this house. I remember we drove up for the first showing and Michael looked over at me and he's like, dang it, I didn't realize how close it was to my parents' house. His parents literally 7 houses up the street. So
iconic.
It's like, he's like, yeah, I didn't really see quite how close it was to their house, but we can't see their house from the front yard, so let's go take a look at it. So we walk the house. It's, we're walking it. It's a vacant house. There's, parquet floors. There's like mulberry tree and a giant pine in the backyard. There's like 15 trees, giant trees in the backyard. And so we're going through it. And I remember standing in the backyard and I was like, I don't know. I don't think this is it. Like, I don't feel it.
Really?
Yeah. And he looked at me and he's like, it's what I can afford. And I was like, okay, then let's try. And honestly, it did not take long. This house has grown on me so much. This is like such a wonderful home. I have to show you, I'll have to show you pictures I still have pictures, I think, from like the listing pictures. Oh. So I'll show you what it was. But like walking through it, it was just like this old home with parquet floors that an old person lived in and like had overgrown everything. And I was just like, I don't know about this. Like one of the bedrooms still has spray paint on the walls. We've lived in this house for 11 years and we haven't repainted the door that they had a teenage son that spray painted his room at some point, and it's still
you almost spray painted at some point.
Yeah, so it still has the I think artists that he would listen to. But no, so after the fact, after we we put an offer in it, we got the house. He got the house. And we found out after we had lived here for like, oh gosh, I don't think we found out until our wedding. I think that, so our neighbors ended up being matron of honor and best man of our, they are such wonderful friends. We have a gate between our houses in the backyard. Like during COVID, they were our pod. It's just, they're very, very close to us.
And you got that because you got this house.
And we got that because we got this house during the best man's speech at our wedding in 2017. So 2 years after we purchased the house, 2 or 3 years after we purchased the house, he says in his speech that, because he knew the person who owned it before, he's like, after I saw you guys looking at the house, and then I saw you come back later and you guys were like snooping in the backyard or whatever. He's like, I called the owner and I said, hey man, because it was a sale of like a trustee sale. He's like, hey man, like, I'm pretty sure that this couple is going to put an offer in. I think that they would be pretty good neighbors. Like, if it's a decent offer, can you accept the offer? Like, can you accept the offer? And they did. They accepted the offer. We got the house. It's like, oh my gosh, our neighbors before they even became our best friends. Like, they helped us get the house. So all that to say, what else? Oh, so then when it came to the escrow process, I couldn't really tell you what happened because I was not involved in that process. I was not asked to. I was not. Neither. I mean, I guess I didn't really need to. It's not really on the agent to have me, be there. But Michael also just made the appointments on his own. Like there was no email that I was CC'd on to see what the process was. Let's see. The lender that he used was just the lender that the agent referred. Yeah. 11 years later, we still get a little magnet calendar from her every year. I don't think that she's ever, I haven't talked to her at all, but we have a little magnet calendar that we get from her every year. Yeah. So she's keeping up her database.
Yeah, she is. And that also just speaks volumes because, as the real estate agent, the client usually comes to you first, and who you refer to them means a lot. Right? And so who you refer to is a direct relation to who you are. Yeah. And so I think that my real estate agent I had at my first home purchase, I think that my feelings and sentiment towards her might be a little bit better if she didn't refer me to that lender. Yeah. Right?
But that was that the agent that was referred to you by that original program? Yeah. So that's weird. That's interesting too, to see the
swindle. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so I think I don't know. So you used the lender that was referred to you. I used the lender that was referred to me. Yeah. That's how it usually goes, right?
Yeah. I think that speaks to having that dream team, right? Yeah. Whether it's a lender that you really trust or an agent that you really trust. And then who is that person's, obviously you can create your own dream team. If you have a lender and an agent that you love. Yeah. But even if it's just one aspect of the dream team that you are super gung-ho about, usually one stellar person will have other stellar people in their orbit.
Even post-close. Yeah. Who you refer to them when they're asking you about, I need my garage door fixed, or I need this done, I need that done. All of those things matter.
Relationship building. Yeah. So I think that the two things that my experience shaped as far as the agent that I am for my clients is I like to ask, or I guess 3, we already touched on one. The first one is who's involved, right? Who are the decision makers? I try to be very clear on that. And they're not always the people that are going to be on the deed or the mortgage. Yeah. There are other decision makers. There are other things that contribute to that. I am very big on asking questions because I want to make sure that the client feels heard, and for me to get to the why of like, why is this particular thing you're saying important to you? Can we expand our search to different areas based on your why, or is like this specific area really important?
Yeah.
And then also the last one is just pulling in the emotional side of real estate. I think that having a counseling background, that I'm fairly in tune with.
You're very in tune.
The emotional side of real estate, and making sure that I'm trying to keep tabs on how people are feeling and everyone who's involved in the process, and making sure that they're heard. So yeah,
that's awesome. I think for me, a big thing is just being real with people and not assuming they know anything. I feel like there was a lot of things that I was either like my questions were brushed to the side, or they just would say something like, "Oh, you're DTI." I mean, you know, if you don't know those things, how do you know what the heck is DTI, right?
Yeah.
Or, oh, your ratio, like what ratio, what does it need to be? Like
why does it matter?
Why does it matter? So like explaining those things,
the education piece,
going into detail, and making sure that I let a client know that whether they're buying a house for, you know, for 200, 300,000, or buying a house for 800,000, and no matter what their loan amount is, I'm going to give them the same service, right?
100%.
So, you know, I'm not going to change my quality of care.
Yeah.
And so that's something that really stuck to me. And then another thing that really matters to me is, like you said about being involved. You know, I might not have been, you might not have been on the deed or the mortgage when our homes initially closed for the first ones. And so now I have a lot of clients, and especially in this day and age, I feel like a long time ago, it usually was married couples buying.
Sure.
We're seeing a lot more single people buying.
Yes.
We're also seeing a lot of people who are boyfriend, girlfriend buying. I've helped friends buy together. And so understanding how that dynamic is, who's the decision maker, who's the driving force, who's going to be the one that has questions at the end, understanding those things is super important.
Absolutely.
And making sure that you're not dismissing anyone.
Yeah.
You know, this is also really silly, but a lot of people automatically put husbands or the guys on the application as the main applicant and the women as the secondary. And
do you do it the opposite just because?
I do it based on who has better qualifying.
Oh, okay.
So
I like that.
So I don't base it on gender whatsoever.
Yeah.
Whoever has like the better income and credit, they get put in primary position, because if I need to drop the other person, I can drop them. But I don't. But again, if I drop them, there's a reason why, and I'm explaining it,
right?
And I'm still including them in the conversation thereafter.
They're still CC'd on stuff. It just
CC'd on everything.
Yeah.
And so those are things that I've kind of learned from my buying experiences. But really, the big thing is just listening to everyone and never dismissing any question.
I feel like that's the biggest thing for you. Also, like that led into you just being tenacious of getting back in. And I mean, both your own personal experience and then like your first lender, your first lender company experience, like both of those were driving forces for you for education and support and putting your clients first.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I brought this up a million times and I'll never stop. I consider myself a fiduciary, and my job is to put my clients' needs and their benefit before my own.
Yeah.
And that is not only good to do as a person, but also as a business person, that's good. If I am giving you a shitty loan and giving you a shitty experience, you're never going to refer to me.
Yes.
So my job is to give you a phenomenal loan with a phenomenal experience and phenomenal upkeep of this relationship.
Yes.
So that when your friend or your sister or your barber is saying they might want to buy a house, you want to think of me.
Yes. Hey, Leni, what areas can you work? I want to just like do a little plug. Like you can work in all of California, right?
I can work in all of California, and I can work in a few different states.
Okay.
I think it's like 47 states. There's a few that I can't do.
Most
like
states.
Nevada, I have to have like an in-person office there. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like, but to be honest, I really prefer to refer out to other lenders when it comes to certain states, just because there's different rules.
Yeah.
And I have a really good list of lenders that I like to work, or loan officers that I like to work with throughout other states. Yeah. But, you know, if you're an awesome person who does loans in a state that I don't cover, or a state that, you know, you do amazing at, let me know and I can add you to my referral base.
We'd love that.
I would really love that, just because, and again, I want someone who's, you know, going to put care and education behind their conversations with their clients. And if that's you, if you feel like I'm describing you, please reach out so then I can add you to my referral list.
That's so important to us. Yeah.
Because I had a client reach out to me about wanting to buy a loan in Arkansas, and I'm not licensed in Arkansas, or can't do anything in Arkansas. Yeah. And so I was like, ooh, who am I going to send this to? I ended up finding someone that I connected with at a conference that I had a really good conversation with. But who knows? Maybe you might be better. And so just reach out to me. Maybe we might work well together.
Yeah. Sounds good. And then for like California, are the lending rules pretty much the same? Like
California is California.
So like if anyone in California wanted to use you as a lender, it would be no problem for
Absolutely
you.
No
like
problem.
You would, because like for example, as an agent, it's very area specific. And so I have a very small regional area.
What's the area that you cover?
So I like, so mine is Sacramento County, and then I can work. I also dabble a little bit in the surrounding counties. So like
Placer,
El Dorado Hills, Placer, Yolo. But I don't actually go very far out of that, because I feel like for example, once you start getting up into the foothills, then you're dealing with septic and stuff that I'm just not familiar with. And so I try to refer out if it's too far out of Sacramento County, but like, you know, El Dorado Hills, or there's like a couple, like the cities that surround Sacramento County, I'm good. And then beyond that, I have amazing partners outside. Yeah. So mine's a smaller dot.
I feel like, you know, since I am licensed, I can do anything in California, right? And so, but for you in real estate, and I see this on purchase contracts, there are things that are commonplace in Sacramento area that are not commonplace in the Bay Area. Yeah. Or in San Diego. San Diego is so different, like with their escrow and title being completely separate.
I was just going to say, Southern California, escrow and title are two separate companies.
Two separate companies.
In Northern California, it's the same.
Same company. In the Bay Area, I have an agent that I work with closely. She tells me that it's very common for people to list their house under value so that people can bid over. Whereas that's not commonplace here in Sacramento.
Not really.
And so it's just like all these different things that are just like, oh, that's how you do it, right? Yeah. And so it's really interesting.
Yeah. And I mean, I think one of the reasons that we did this podcast, not like a core reason. Well, maybe it is a core reason. I don't know. Part of the reason we wanted to do this podcast is because we want to find agents and lenders like us. Like we want to build our amazing referral network. And so please connect with us. If you want to find us on Instagram, it's Realty Check Podcast. In the show notes, we have our websites, we have our emails. Like we are here to pull you in and bring you a part of us.
Again, I said, I'm rising tides over here. She's rising tides over here. So the thing is, if we're holding ourselves to a different standard and at a higher caliber, and we just keep doing that, it's just going to fix and better our industry as a whole.
Well, and there's not enough. I mean, this was one of the things that made me decide that I wanted to be an agent, was like, I realized there are not a lot of high caliber agents. Like it was not going to take much for me to provide better service to clients than what is currently out there. Yeah. Yeah. So we want to continue to highlight and spotlight people who are just as amazing and treat their clients.
Yeah. I'm hoping that, I mean, yes, obviously it's not like the main reason we started this, but it is a reason we started this. Yeah. I would love for us to build a community where we can all talk about our whys, and we can all talk about our goals, and we can all just applaud each other's like accolades and what we've done, and we can lift each other up. And so, and there's room for all of us. There's absolutely room for all of us. Yeah. And so
eventually we want to start doing, hopefully soon, start doing some interviews too for these podcasts. So we have our first one we're going to schedule in the coming weeks. Yeah. Who are we going to have first?
So our first, I know I've talked about her a few times. We're going to have the Lori Hawkins of Hawkins Home Loans. So she is my mortgage broker. She has been in the industry a long time. I don't want to give you a whole spiel on her because she's going to do that herself. Mm-hmm. But I mean, she is a rock star of a mom, single mom who made it in this industry through all odds, through through the rough times, through the good times, through it all.
Yeah.
And so just hearing her experience and her story and her why is going to be really nice for all of you to get to know.
Yeah. So stay tuned for that.
And honestly, if you have a why or a reason why you do what you do, and you are in our industry or a surrounding industry, let us know. Maybe we can set up a time to have you interviewed too.
Yeah, that'd be really fun.
I would love that. Yeah. So yeah, I think closing, I'm stoked with what's to come. I don't plan on buying a house in the next few years, but who knows? Maybe I will again. And
I don't know. I keep sending you. I have a hair up my butt.
She does.
I want some land for our dog, our poor dog. I feel like he needs more property, and I want a bigger house because I feel like the walls are closing in on me with 2 growing children. So who knows? Maybe I will have a home buying journey that we can talk through in the next couple of years. But
I'm telling you, because I really like our neighborhood, I'm like your husband.
Yeah.
I've fallen in love with this neighborhood. I've joined the cult. Founded a neighborhood association here, so I'm not leaving.
True.
So I mean, who knows? Maybe I would buy another house in this neighborhood if a bigger lot size came. You and I might have to duke it out for it. But no, I don't know. It's just
I'll have to sell this house to you if I move,
there you
and
go.
then you can have a rental and your primary house. There you go.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
We'll see you guys next time, and thanks for listening.
Thanks for coming. Peace.
That's Realty Check.
Real lives, real estate, and the conversations most people do not want to have.
We'll talk soon.